Chapter 3. At the entrance stood men and women in black suits wearing white gloves, who eagerly took our invitation, directed us to the next group of people waiting to assist us, making sure we are in the right area. The workers wore congenial smiles as they walked us to the entrance to a large room, superbly decorated with holiday lights and filled with dining tables and chairs. It appeared there were more than one function planned for this Christmas holiday. A young woman enthralled at seeing Max reached awestruck for our invitation and said nervously to follow her. She strolled behind a smartly dressed woman following a crowd into the large dining room, and then the young woman my age in her 20s led us to the front to the tables near the orchestra setting on a stage. A dance floor is situated 3 tables behind us. Max thanked her and she smiled broadly at him, batting her eyes as if she's flirting. He doesn't notice, but it catches my attention. Now is not the time for me to become jealous. I thought I wasn't a jealous person, but it seems it's in all of us. It just takes the right person or thing or time to bring it to the surface. Max pulls out my chair and I sit. A young man rushes over and pulls Max's chair, but he hardly notices. He's searching the crowd for someone through a sea of black and white attire. The tables are round and large with expensive white tablecloths draped across them. Everything is flawless. The crystal goblets are spotless, the silverware is polished to the point where you can use them to check your lipstick, and when the light catches the crystal glasses, they give off a sparkle. A waiter with white gloves hands Max a menu. Max glances behind us and stands immediately. He sees someone he recognizes, and he doesn't realize that I'm at this large table alone, and I don't know anyone in the place. Max doesn't give that a second thought. He places his hand over mine. I hope you will be okay with me leaving you so soon, but I have to talk to one of my partners. It's business, of course. Whatever you select for dinner is fine with me. He places the menu in front of me. I'm looking up at him with a please don't leave me look. Grabbing his hand before he leaves me, I say, you didn't tell me you would leave me here all alone and so soon. My tone is low and whiny like a little girl. I compose myself when he raises his eyebrow. As usual, you aren't giving me a choice, Max. You won't be alone, he says, smiling, raising my hand to his mouth and kissing it. It will only be for a few, Alex. I'll check on you. You can make friends with the people who will be sitting with us. It's not easy talking to people over the age of 30. Max raises one eyebrow because he's over 30. I search around at the moment for someone close to my age, and I can't see anyone. What would he have me do, walk around to tables and say hi? I'm looking for someone my age? When Robert arrives, he and his date will keep you company. Max smiles as if he has accomplished something, or like I'm a child who needs to be reassured that the babysitter will be here just in case Daddy and Mama doesn't make it back in time. I narrow my eyes, as if the babysitter is the creep from next door. Did I hear him correctly, Robert? He's the last man I want to see, or Max should ask to keep his wife company. Looking up at Max once again with pleading eyes, I beg, I don't want Robert to keep me company. I want you. I can't control my voice or body language because I'm desperate. I don't react well when Robert is near me. Max doesn't give my plea a second thought. His mind is somewhere else, and he raises his hand and waves at an older man across the room who's wearing a simple black tux. Not the designer kind like Max, and all the 30-something hotshots, movers and shakers, handsome and not so handsome men in a circle talking and shaking hands. When I turn looking to Max, he steps away from me, in the middle of my pleading and holding on to his extended hand. I let go, and he disappears in a crowd of men and women entering the room, looking for their tables. I stand trying to keep him in sight, but he has disappeared into a sea of black suits and black and white dresses. The orchestra is playing, and the music is low. I want him to look into my eyes and tell me he loves me. It's that kind of music, but he disappears behind the dance floor, and it looks like he's headed for the bar at the far right of the room. I turn around ready to bite my nails, but then I feel a presence. Mrs. Blackstone, the voice is seductively hoarse and low. I can never get that voice out of my head. It's Robert. He's dressed in a black Tom Ford tux. It's fitting him, as if he was born into it. My heart is racing. He doesn't look as handsome as Max in his suit, but he does something to me that Max isn't doing. He has a date with him, and I feel uneasy knowing he's with someone. Why do I feel this way? I glance up, my eyes waver between the both of them. I think I've seen her before. They sit, and Robert never bothers to introduce us. He turns his back on her to stare at me. I don't know what to do with my hands. First I reach for my small purse and pretend I'm checking for my lip gloss, and then I find a small sample size of my perfume. Robert's friend has to lean forward to catch a glimpse of me. A waiter rushes over to pour them glasses of water. The young woman my age who would have something in common with me, if it wasn't that we already had something in common, Robert, raises a glass to her mouth and drinks the water, and then whispers in Robert's ear, "I need a drink." Robert turns to her and doesn't respond. She places her hand around his neck, and he acts uncomfortable and sits back. "Haven't we met before?" the young woman says nervously. "I don't think so. I remember her. She was the one who wanted Robert to buy her a dog like mine. She was the one who mistakenly thought I was a maid." "Oh yes, the one in the elevator earlier." The young woman turns and faces forward when I answer coldly. "I'm jealous, and I've just shown my colors to Robert." He sits there with a secretive grin, and I can imagine him rejoicing at my obvious jealous reply. "Where is Blackstone?" Robert asked, turning to me. His blue eyes burning my red dress. His tone sarcastic. His main purpose of asking is to amplify how callous Max is. How he would bring his wife out to a place like this and then disappear. He didn't have to say anything. I knew by the look on his face what he was thinking, and what he would say or do, if Miss Longlegs wasn't sitting near him trying to get his attention. "He had to meet someone," I say dryly, turning to face him. "It's business, of course," I say with a closed smile. "Yes, of course, and we know how Blackstone puts business before pleasure, before his wife," Robert says with a smirk and a raised eyebrow. "If you were mine," he says, leaning and whispering, "and all due respect, Mrs. Blackstone, I would never let you out of my sight." A cold chill surges down my spine, but instead of being repulsed, I want to fall into Robert's arms. His voice is soothing and playful. But I catch myself. I should know better. Here he is, sitting with his girlfriend, and he's making a pass at me. Where is Max when I need him? Doesn't he know better than to leave me alone with Robert? I'm a young woman who is in need of a man to whisper in her ear, kiss her breasts as he tells her how and why he wants to fuck her into the next of never, as he's performing mind-blowing sex with her. I need my husband who has left me in the care of a man who would do all of those things, and much more, if I whispered to him, "Take me and make me yours. Do what you want to me." Robert's date is looking around and pretending that she never heard him make a blatant pass at his boss's wife. Then she raises her hand, and a waiter hurries to the table. She glances at Robert and mouths, "I need a drink." Her voice is small and she moans in his ear. He gives her an impatient nod. It appears she needs his approval before she can drink. Is she his submissive? It takes a minute for it to register with me. Yes, she is. It hits me all at once. Why didn't I put that together sooner? A light goes off. He has a submissive or some, but he's looking to me to be his dominant. What a fucked up world. That's how I met Max. He was searching for a dominant woman. He claimed he wanted a submissive, but all along it was someone to control him. Someone to tell him no. Someone to punish him when he's bad. All these powerful and mighty men are looking to be dominated. The more I refused Robert's advances, the more he's turned on by me, and the more I want to be with him, dominating him. Having my way with him. Punishing him like I used to do with Max. The waiter shows up, and he has 2 drinks for Robert's date. She downs the 2 quickly and asks permission for 2 more, and he gives her permission. What is he doing? I stand up. He clenches my hand under his, and I look down on his hand and up at him. I gaze into those steel blue eyes. I'm not about to ask him for permission for anything, and he knows it. Tell my husband I've gone to the ladies' room. I tear my hand from under his, and turn and stroll from the table. Closing my eyes a moment and exhaling, I control myself. 1 more minute, and I would have sat and obeyed him. Before I leave, I hear Robert tell the young woman, "Don't make me shame tonight in front of Mrs. Blackstone. No more drinks." I see the sign for the ladies' restroom, and I head in that direction, walking slow and careful in my high heels. I'm getting hungry and I feel weak. I look around the enormous room to see if I can spot Max anywhere. Normally I can because he's usually the tallest man in the room, but not tonight. There are more than 1 tall drink of water, and I know 2 of them. Standing on tiptoes even in my high heels, I try to find him, but he's nowhere to be seen. I give up, and continue to the restroom to get a breather from Robert. Before I get halfway to the door, I feel a hand tug at mine, and I look, and Robert is pulling me in a corner down a dark passage. We shouldn't be here. What do you want? I'm angry and I try to pull away. My eyes are narrow and hollow. I couldn't tell you before that you're so beautiful tonight, and with that red dress you're fascinating. I want to make love to you. You want to do what? I can't believe he said that to me. No. I can believe he would. Are you insane? Then let me taste you here. His eyes are stark and glaring. I don't move. I can't move. You are dangerous. I'm with my husband. You should have said, under no circumstances will I let you. But you didn't, and now I know that all your talk was just that. Nothing but talk. He emphasized those words. Robert looks to the left and then the right. I don't see Max anywhere. He's bracing his body against mine, and I'm sweating because I can't explain to Max what I'm doing huddled in a dark passageway with Robert, if by chance he walked up on us. I believe in Murphy's Law. What can go wrong will go wrong. My husband could come here any minute and see you. He would see us, and I would have to tell him that I'm in love with you, and that I intend to take you from him. He knows that would never happen. I would never leave my children and my husband for a womanizing, philandering flirt, who gallivants and fucks a different woman every day and night. How do you know that Max isn't doing the same thing? He's never at home, and how do you know that when he claims he's on a business trip, he's not with a woman? He's holding my wrists when he says this. No doubt checking my pulse, which is racing. I don't want to hear any more of your lies. You're jealous of Max. That's true. I am jealous of Max. I'm jealous that he has you, and doesn't know how to satisfy you. If you were mine, I would fuck only you, he says to me. For a moment, I fall under his spell, and I'm stupid enough to believe him. But only for a moment, but somehow my head clears. I'm not yours, and I have to leave. My voice is strong, but my tone is clouded with uncertainty. I shove his hard chest and it doesn't budge. He takes one of my hands and places it to his groin. Do you feel that? I can't think or function for wanting you, seeing you, and needing to make love to you. Looking him in the eyes, I laugh. That's all I could do to disguise my feelings for him. I had suspicions you thought with your penis. He drops my hand. I'm against the wall and he has me fenced in. His hands rest above my head as his body leans into me. His face is close to mine. I can feel warmth when he breathes. I can smell his delicious scent. His bath gel. His aftershave lotion. The smell of a new suit. Do you think I will fuck that woman tonight? No, I won't, because I can't get hard for anyone but you. And that has been fucking with my mind. You have been fucking with my mind, Alex. He's repeating those words, making me nervous. With each word he's getting louder, and thank goodness the music and voices drown out the timbre in his voice. His penetrating eyes are telegraphing his feelings loud and clear. Easing my body to the side, looking for an opening, I say, stop. I need to get away from you. I'm breathing hard, and he leans in and kisses my neck. I can feel his breath near my ear, and his penis growing and tugging at the silk fabric on my dress. I raise my chin, and he pushes aside my hair, and I feel the warmth of each soft kiss he carefully, softly lays on my neck. I smell the gel he used to tame his dark silk curls. When I come to my senses, I glance up, and I move away from him. I make an urgent rush down the hall, in the direction of the restroom. My face is flush and my hair needs combing. But most of all, I want Max to make love to me tonight. It's essential that Max take me tonight anyway, and every way. That I know. I have to get Robert out of my brain, and out of my life. When I reach the restroom door, Robert followed me, and he's standing behind me, preventing my escape. He touches my arm. I don't want to look around. I know his touch. I know it's Robert and not Max. The door to the ladies' room flings open just in time. Standing there is Melody from school. What the fuck are you doing here, Alex? Her eyes enlarge with surprise at seeing me. You look beautiful. She walks around me. She's wearing a short black dress with spaghetti-thin straps, and a pair of black satin Manolo Blahniks heels. She has dancer's legs. She spent her childhood learning ballet and gymnastics. I spent my childhood wondering who my mother is, and losing myself in books. The back of my dress is cut down to my waist. My dress is all front and no back. Melody doesn't miss the opportunity to notice. Damn, Alex. You don't look like that girl I saw at school. What did you do to yourself? You're hot. There are some things I didn't tell you. Yeah. I bet. She takes another scenic tour of me. I thought this dinner was only for the very rich and well-connected, Melody quips with a snarky tone. She finally notices Robert and glances at him, pursing her lips. I know why you're here, Robert. Nothing gets done in this town, and with these rich fucks, unless you have a hand in it. She shoots him a closed smile and tilts her head to the right, and he gives her a closed hard-line smile. Melody gives him another one back. She steps out into the corridor, and let the door close behind her. I reach for her and hug her. I'm so glad to see you. She's just in time to save me from myself. Melody gazes at me, and her eyes wander to Robert. I hope you're not with him. She takes a moment to stare down Robert. Placing her hand on my shoulder, she says, "Come in here, Alex." I don't want Robert to hear me talk about him. She opens the door, waiting for me. I turn to Robert. He has a brooding look. Melody has the goods on him, and she's planning on spilling it to me, and he knows it. She glances up at Robert with a conspirator's grin. I don't want you to hear our conversation, she says, holding the door open for me. And you can't come in the ladies' room anyway. Melody just about pushes me into the room and backs in, then she turns and glares at me. Do you know who the fuck he is? Of course you do. I gave you the rundown on him in class. You've gotten mixed up with a man that's into everything and everybody? I'm not mixed up with him, Melody. She's talking to me as if I'm her little sister when we both are the same age. Well, he has his sights on you, and I know Robert. When he wants a woman, it doesn't matter if she's married or not, he will go after her until he gets her. He's relentless. I'm not stupid enough to fall for him. I'm married. Where is that careless husband of yours? I'd like to meet him. That's what I'd like to know. Chapter 4. I know perfectly well who Robert is and what he's capable of doing. But I was afraid to reveal my feeling to Melody. I couldn't let her know I had fallen into a deep undercurrent of emotions concerning him, and I don't know what to do. I thought I'd never see you again, and what are you doing with Robert? I'm not with Robert, I objected, giving out a small laugh. I'm hoping to convince her how absurd the idea is. He works for my husband. My words are a practice, and my tone is deceptive. I shoot her a smile, and I know she sees through it. Melody may be young like me, but she has been around and she's street smart. Well, your husband must be rich. Robert doesn't associate with anyone unless they have loads of money. I never would have thought that you rolled that way, Missy. When I saw you, you had on an old cheap pair of jeans and a cheap purse. I felt sorry for you. Melody smiles and stares, trying to read me. You see, you never know about people. Now give me a short rundown on your husband. Is he young or old? Her face lightens up. I think I have persuaded her. At least for now. My mother knows everyone who's rich in this town, and she's just full of gossip. I can find out if your husband is fooling around on you. If her mother knows about Jonas Blackstone and how I'm connected to him, then I'll sit and listen. Until then, I'll wait to learn about Max's indiscretions. I can swallow only one piece of bad news at a time. My husband is Blackstone. Maximilian Blackstone. I think I've heard of him. Is he the one that owns a bondage club? Melody peers at me. I can read her face. Oh shit, she does know something. That's not common knowledge. No. God, no. I give her a feeble laugh. That's Jonas Blackstone. I hide that he's my brother-in-law. If her contacts are good and well connected as she say, I'll let her discover that on her own. Right now, I'm not giving out too much information. My husband is Maximilian Blackstone. The industrialist, I say smugly. What are you doing with Robert? Melody repeats herself. Apparently she didn't believe what I said to her about Robert, and she's digging deeper. Melody leans forward, looking into my eyes. He's nothing but trouble, you know. She's talking to me as if she's my big sister, warning me about the high school senior quarterback who is known to fuck all the cheerleaders and half the young freshman girls. He ruins every woman that comes into contact with him. I know he's good looking and all that other shit, if that's what floats your boat, and someone I'd like to fuck, but he's a man you can only fuck once, and maybe you shouldn't once. Her laugh is small, and she glances at me with her big eyes and asks the question she wanted to ask all along. Have you fucked him? The word fuck rolls off her tongue. Melody doesn't think. She just says whatever is on her mind. No. Why would you ask me that? I'm surprised and a little insulted. Because you have a look on your face I've seen before on a friend of mine who dated Robert. And what look is that? A look of distraction and need. What happened between your friend and Robert? Do they still see each other? I'm interested in the gossip, for more reasons than one. She killed herself, she says matter of fact. She did what? My mouth opens. I'm in shock. She killed herself. Like took too many pills, killed herself. She fell in love with him, thought he would marry her, and when he paraded enough woman in her face, she left him one night, took a bottle of sleeping pills, swallowed half a bottle and died. How do you know it was because of him? I'm frantic. She told me she might do it. I didn't take her serious. She had a good head on her shoulder, like you. She left a note to him telling him how much she loved him, and she couldn't function in this world without him loving her. My face goes blank, and my eyes can't or won't blink because my mind is wandering. When I focus on Melody's voice, she's still talking a mile a minute. Robert had gotten her caught up in his BDSM lifestyle. He controlled her every movement, and when he found someone else, he dumped her. She couldn't handle it. I tried talking to her, but I couldn't get through to her. I sent her to my therapist, and he couldn't help her. She started cutting her wrists. She would call him in the middle of the night, and different women would answer the phone. He didn't take her serious the last time, and she did it. Melody is staring at me, and I'm watching at her in the mirror. My eyes are blinking wildly now. When a group of women enter the restroom, Melody stops talking, but resumes after the women put on makeup, wash their hands and leave. We've been in here too long, and your husband is probably looking for you. Okay. I'm still in a daze trying to process what I've heard. I walk out with Melody, and Robert is nowhere to be seen. He finally decided to go back to his date. I didn't tell her that Max left me alone to conduct business, and I don't have the foggiest notion where he is. Where are you sitting? I ask Melody. We're walking into the large room. She points in the same section where my table is. At that table with my parents. What a bummer. She rolls her eyes. Do you have a boyfriend? Heavens no. The ones I want don't want me, and the ones that want me, they're just looking for money. I did tell you that I'm due to inherit a fortune left to me by my grandparents. That's why my parents are kissing my ass and trying to introduce me to their friends. They want me to invest my money, but I don't trust those sharks, and especially Robert. No one knows how he became rich. He doesn't live like it, but he's filthy rich. You know a lot about Robert. She stops in the middle of a crowd of people talking and milling about. My parents said he's almost as rich as that Blackstone guy. Hey, they must be talking about your husband, she says laughing. After a moment, we continue our trek back to our tables. If Robert is that rich, why is he working for Max? No. It couldn't be. He couldn't have devised this plan to get to me. Where did he hear about me? I'm wondering. Then it comes to me. Jonas. That traitor. He used me to get Robert off his back and try to hold on to his club. We stop near my table, and Robert is sitting with his hand under his girlfriend's dress. Melody whispers, "See what I told you." But he's not doing that because he likes her, he's doing it to make you jealous. Come on. Be for real. I turn to Melody, and she doesn't take her eyes off of me. Mark what I say. That's the way he operates when he's on to the next woman. And I bet he's trying to get you caught up with him. Remember what I said when we were in class? I said that he had you in his sights. We didn't hear Max when he stood behind us, looking at Robert fondling his girlfriend. "Ladies, see something interesting," Max's voice is playful. "Oh, Max. You're back." I said I wouldn't be long. You were gone long enough for Robert to kiss me, and heaven knows what else. "Max, this is my friend Melody." Max holds out his hand and Melody gazes at him, as if he's a rock star and he's singing her favorite song. She's reacting to him, as if she's an excited little puppy, and she might pee on herself any moment. "Mr. Blackstone, I've heard so much about you. And everything I've heard is true. Your eyes, your face, and those dimples, you are so you are gorgeous." I don't remember telling her about Max's dimples. I wanted to say, "Put a sock in it, Melody. You don't have to fawn over him like that. He's 30-something, and he's married with children. Boys, to be exact." Maybe I had forgotten how attractive and handsome his face is, and I didn't appreciate the striking ruggedness of it. It's like looking into those green eyes too long, and I needed to see steel blue like Robert's, and one was no better than the other. Just different. I had gotten used to Max and his incredible body. I didn't appreciate the handsome, sexy man before me. "Would you like to sit with us? It's not often Alex has someone her age to talk to." "Oh no, Mr. Blackstone, I don't want to interfere with your night out with your wife. There are others who have done that enough." I had to gaze at Melody. I didn't want her to run her mouth to the extent where she might say something I will regret. "My parents are waiting for me. I'm sitting with them. You may know them." "Well, they know you. Hell, everyone in New York knows your name, Mr. Blackstone, and your attorney friend, Mr. Montgomery," she says with a chuckle after giving Robert a cold stare. When Robert hears his name, he glances up at us. Seeing Melody, he turns away. He gives his girlfriend a passionate kiss on the lips and drops his hands on her lap, and she reaches over and cups his penis. It appears that all the demonstrations were for me. Robert demonstrating how he's all into his date, and she demonstrating how she arouses Robert. But I know a man like him, and it will take more than a little fondling in public to get a rise out of him. It will take a whip and chains to make him stand up and take notice.